up, people? I just did the video on that crooked judge, the pinky judge, who was sending people to jail for rolling their eyes. And there was a couple other cases that came up, and somebody sent me something. This is Yolo DA Jeff Reisig. And most people who's been watching me a while know my history with him. I turned him in. He was trying to hide evidence in a murder trial, and I mean, he was just doing all kind of crooked stuff. I've arrested so many felons, I can't even keep track of how many felons are in prison and how many felony arrests I've made in my career. It's got to be close to thousands. It's just, and I guarantee you, the most crooked, unethical, destructive person I've ever met is this guy, Jeff Reisig. And he's still in office. And he keeps getting reelected. I just don't get it. I mean, me and my lieutenant were the senior guys, and we didn't make shit up. We got on the stand. I got on the stand, testified. Everything in my letter was true. Everything I said about him was true. I offered to take a lie detector test if he would take one to prove that I was telling the truth, he was lying. Of course, he didn't want it, and they didn't want me taking a lie detector test because it'd make his case worse. But let me tell you something. When Jeff Reisig walks in a courtroom, I don't care who's in there trying to get convicted. He is the dirtiest, sleaziest person in the courtroom. But here's another case that just came up on him. So this is probably, I think I've read probably at least 4, 5, 6 different times that he's actually been caught and called out for lying and doing the same thing he did that I said he was doing. And he walks every freaking time. And it's just amazing. It really amazes me that it takes so much. That case, I'll put a link to that video I just did on the pinky judge that was doing over 100 violations before they finally said, you know what, we need to censor her. This guy is constantly hiding evidence and getting cases overturned, and nothing gets done. It's just amazing. And I mean, I don't know how many cases of his got overturned. It's hard to find out. And even when they overturn him, they don't really censor him. You know, the courts are like, well, he's a DA and we don't want to do. So he just walks anyway. I mean, the whole system is a freaking joke. But DAs are the most powerful, unaccountable people around. They get immunity. They can charge who they want and who they... I mean, this guy did so many things that it was just blatantly obvious that the guy is crooked and unethical. And he still gets reelected. He gets up there in a suit and people believe him. And this one, I think he hit some tapes, etc. And the court really didn't rule on it. You can review these at the, these articles are on the Davis Vanguard. They've been, I mean, look, Davis Vanguard is a pretty left-wing liberal thing, and I usually don't get along with those people. But the only thing that me and the Vanguard really have in common is that we both believe that Reisig is a cancer to the judicial system, and he's the most unethical dude around, and nobody does anything. As part of my settlement from the county when he tried to fire me and I got my job back, is I had to sign some letter saying that my allegations were unfounded. And I was really, I didn't want to sign it at first. And so I was like, I'm not signing that. I said, I already got on court and testified that it's true. I said, I testified under oath that it's true. I said, everything in my letter is true. Why would I do a letter? And my attorney's like, look, man, this is just kind of political. It's a civil thing. He wants to be able to flaunt something out so he can convince people that, you know, what you said wasn't true. Unfounded does not mean untrue. It just means that you couldn't prove it. And, you know, and I told you in the cases where he was testifying, he said, I don't remember, like, I don't know, 60 something times. I have a video on it when he was given testimony under oath. He wouldn't look up. He was the worst witness I've ever seen in my life. And the judge still found him credible. I showed him an email where he responded that absolutely proved allegations. And the judge said, and he wasn't a judge, he's some retired attorney that sits on these hearings. So he came back and played judge and got paid by the county and my attorneys. And he split, I don't know what, 5 or 10 grand is what they paid him to come hear the case. And of course he's a lawyer, so he picks the lawyer sides and he does this letter saying, well, you got to sign a letter to say it was unfounded because you couldn't prove it. What do you mean I couldn't prove it? But anyway, this guy is, I mean, look at this stage photo. Who looks at this photo and doesn't think it's stage? He sits up straight. He gets his little hands straight. He opens a book like he's reading something. What is this? What is this book? See, we don't see the title of the book. This is How to Lie and Manipulate the Courts so I can get convictions and hide evidence legally. That's probably what the name of the book is, but he doesn't show that. He makes it look like he's learning something. What a weasel. I mean, Anyway, so he's just a short, I mean, he's one of the many on a list. So I don't know how many you remember the Duke Lacrosse prosecutor who was hiding evidence, misleading, trying to get a conviction, put these guys, even though he knew the case was bullshit, kind of like what Reisig does. I mean, he'll get a felon and say, we'll give you a shorter sentence if you say what I want you to say. And then if you change your mind later and tell the truth, I'll charge you for lying under oath. I mean, that's how these attorneys do this stuff. I mean, I learned how to be a really good weasel working for Reisig. But anyway, this guy got disbarred for his multiple misconduct. And I don't even know this little weasel, but I can guarantee you Reisig has done worse. I mean, it's just, no one can understand. And you know what? I don't really care. I don't have to deal with it. He's in Yolo County, whatever he wants. If the people want to keep electing his dumb ass, that's their problem. Here's a New York judge who got sentenced to 15 months for obstruction. She was taking money, I think. And from, was it firefighters or credit? Yeah. I don't know what. Anyway, she got 15 months and they stuck the obstruction charge. When they finally go after these corrupt politicians, and Reisig, I mean, he's been a politician forever. You know, when he got elected, he was like, man, I'll never stay here. Yolo County's too small. I'll be leaving after 1 or 2 terms. He's still there? I don't know. He's in a 3rd or 4th term. He's just such a weasel liar. Anyway, so this is another criminal justice failure of our system. And for some reason, they're never held accountable. And the video I was talking about earlier, this Pinky Carr, she was a judge, over 100 incidents of misconduct it took. And now she's appealing her 2-year suspension. She's a lawyer and a judge. So, I mean, it's just crazy. Oh, God. I mean, you could just write a book on Reisig's unethical crap. I was looking at some of these other articles. Evidently, he attacked some dude who's a brother of a second baseman or something, and he was giving money to the community, and now there's all this thing about Reisig's political untruthful tack. You know what? I just, look, crooked people in the judicial system are the worst gang members out there. I think this might be the person running against him. I'm not sure. But Reisig, it's just, it is what it is. People do not want to hold him accountable. And the longer these people are in, the more they surround themselves with people that they have dirt on so they can never turn him in. I've always said that Reisig doesn't surround himself with anybody that's clean. He has to have dirt on you so you won't turn him in for his dirt. And then when you leave a guy in like this for 15 years or however long he's been in, it just gets worse and worse, and he gets entrenched, and he hires people and he promotes people, and those people don't want change. They don't want a new person in because then they lose the clout with the boss, and now they got to figure out how this person works. So change is always good. Yolo County can do what they want, but Reisig is on one of the many people on the list of our failed judicial system. All right, we'll end that there.